Welcome to this video tutorial with Virtual Racing School in the global Mazda MX-5 Cup car on iRacing. This week we return to Lime Rock Park, only this time in the notoriously unforgiving chicane configuration. As the remainder of the track remains the same as earlier in the week, I'll restrict the analysis to just the corners affected, but I'll play the lap in full first, which as ever is driven in default afternoon weather. Okay, so that was a 59.094. Okay, so starting then from the VRS website, we're going to choose the Mazda MX-5 Cup car data pack, and we're going to choose week 9, which is Lime Rock Park Chicane, where you can, from the session details page, download some lap files, the replay, and of course the setup is just the iRacing baseline setup. So we go to Learn Track. It's going to load up the analyzer, it's going to play the lap through. I'm just going to pause it, slow it down to half speed, mute it, and if I go to sector 3 and skip towards the end, this is the approach into the uphill right-hander, which now has the chicane layout. So we just play this through, obviously keeping the car over to the left-hand side in the same way as before. And spotting your reference, if you do need one, you can use these tyres on the right hand side pretty much as they end in your peripheral vision. That's basically when you need to start braking. Now we'll go to sector 4 then, and I am actually left foot braking initially here on entry, and that's so I can play with the throttle to stabilize the car and control any excessive oversteer, which is quite easy to induce on the brakes. So I'm pretty much turning in as I'm braking in 4th gear, leaving it in 4th gear as you apex, making sure that you hit that curb on the inside at the apex there, run it down out towards the middle of the circuit, just tighter of that, and then if we just jump back there, so as I've finished braking initially, I breathe back into the throttle, and then that moment just gives me the opportunity to switch back to right foot braking, where I can then blip the throttle heel and toe downshift into 3rd gear just as the car starts going back up the hill. At this point I'm looking for the curb on the inside at the top of the hill, aiming for that, with the middle of the car intending to go over the highest part of the curb, and then at this point I'm really just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that the car will land okay. So I've got a little bit of maintenance throttle as well here, up onto 2 wheels, and the car's going to land really aggressively here. You'll see some sparks flying there, and but this is the fastest line, and you'll see these bollards appear in front of you, and you're basically aiming to go straight through the ones on the inside. That is the fastest line through here, and as you're doing that, you're hoping that the car is going to settle so you can pick up the throttle hard on the exit. Now for me on this lap the car landed really nicely, so I was able to commit to full throttle as the car landed, and the car didn't bounce around anymore beyond that point, allowing me to remain inside the grass there on the exit, which is critical to getting a good exit. and keeping inside of those bollards there as well. So then we'll go to the next corner, because obviously you're approaching it a little bit slower than you would otherwise from the normal layout. So again, you approach completely flat out and have a lift. So not quite a full lift there. Making sure that you aim for that apex nicely, and you aim to get as close to the curb on the inside at the apex as possible. Now, my apex speed here was a little bit higher than I was anticipating, and that's mainly because my exit speed through the chicane, because it was so good, was quite high, which meant that I arrived at this right-hander quite fast. So as a result, I've had to kind of feather out of the throttle a little bit on the exit, which isn't ideal, but I've held my momentum up. Even though I've dropped some wheels out there onto the grass, I've got away with it down the hill. And then the final corner of the lap just remains exactly the same as the normal standard full layout. You can find all setups, replays and telemetry for your own use and analysis on virtualracingschool.com, where you can also book one-on-one tuition with world champions from the likes of Koana Simsport. Good luck for this week, and feel free to post any questions or comments below. Thanks for watching.